Again, as I said, Mohammed Barakat from the US-Qatar Business Council in Washington, D.C. We are very happy to host this event with our distinguished guest today, with our co-host, Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, a great chamber that works closely in helping American businesses and, of course, LA businesses in expanding their networks and doing more business internationally. And in here, working with us in working with the State of Qatar. We appreciate your efforts in here, Martin, and your team as well. We have a very, very interesting panel today with distinguished guests. We have the Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa, the 41st Mayor of Los Angeles. We appreciate your time, Mayor, and being with us today. We as well have Mr. Peter McPartlin from Paramount Pictures that will speak to us today on as a case study and their experience in working with the State of Qatar. And our distinguished guest, Mr. Fahad Al-Dosari, the Qatar Commercial Attaché to the United States, based in Washington, D.C., who will give us a full overview on the opportunities and how the State of Qatar is advancing foreign investments and how can they link to companies in the United States, and in this case, the synergies with California and Los Angeles or the greater Los Angeles area businesses. I really appreciate your time, and I'm going to turn to Mr. Martin Breidsprecher for his welcoming remark.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And hello and welcome to this special webinar on business synergies and opportunities between Southern California companies and Qatar. My name is Martin Breidsprecher. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce, and it's really my pleasure to be with you today. The Chamber is proud to support today's program. We are one of the largest business organizations in the LA region, representing the businesses community that drives the diverse and global economy of the Los Angeles region. Our mission is to design and advance opportunities and solutions for a thriving regional economy that is inclusive and globally competitive. Economic cooperation has the potential to lift up communities around the globe, and we hope that you leave here today with the knowledge, resources, and the desire to seek out opportunities in Qatar. But before we begin, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the US-Qatar Business Council for organizing today's program, as well as the Qatari Embassy and the Consulate for supporting this endeavor. It is also an honor to share this virtual stage with our dear and longtime friend of the Chamber, the Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa, 41st Mayor of Los Angeles, you will hear from him later this morning. It's not a secret that Qatar's economy is rapidly expanding in a variety of sectors. With the immense potential for business opportunities in the 2022 World Cup, the clean tech, the development of smart cities, esports, and plenty more, it is only fitting that the talent and innovation of Los Angeles business community procures business in Qatar. This eventually truly demonstrates the importance of our economic cooperation, and we look forward to what we can accomplish together. I look forward to what is sure to be a very special program. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Really appreciate your remarks. And now we're going to hear from our guest mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa. Mayor, really appreciate your time and looking forward to hear from you and your remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. It's good to see all of you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you, Martin. We have worked together, the Chamber and I, for many years, from the time I was Speaker of the California State Assembly in the 1990s, all through the early 2000s when I was a council member and mayor, and continue to work with that organization. As you said, Mohammed, it is the most important business organization in Southern California, and one with whom I'm proud to work with. And, you know, I don't have to say to you that, to all of you on this webinar, that LA is not just the second largest city in the United States of America. It's what I call the city of America's hope and promise. It's the place where people come to reinvent themselves, to make something new of themselves, if you will. And we're very proud of the fact that in the Pacific Century, this is the capital of the Pacific Rim, but also very interested in working with countries in the Middle East, in Europe, in Africa, and all around the world. And so we couldn't be more excited to be part of this US-Qatar Business Council effort with the Chamber. During my tenure as mayor, I had the pleasure of working closely with the State of Qatar on several economic development issues, including facilitating commercial partnerships between LA companies and the 2022 World Cup preparations. And I want to remind the representatives of Qatar, they promised to invite me to the World Cup back then at my home. And I hope to be receiving that invitation very, very soon. Like Qatar, Los Angeles has extensive experience in hosting world-class events. We showed you all around here. It's why we will be sponsoring the 2028 Olympics, and we're very excited about that. We're a place with more Olympic athletes than anywhere in the world, and couldn't be prouder. In 2013, as mayor, I welcomed a high-level delegation from Qatar, led by the Secretary General of the Supreme Committee of the 2022 World Cup, His Excellency Hassan Al-Thawadi. Mr. Al-Thawadi was interested in developing business opportunities with Los Angeles firms, including engineering, design, and construction companies to support infrastructure projects in Doha. And we're fortunate to have the Qatari delegation launch their 2013 economic roadshow in Los Angeles as part of our West Coast Tour of Industries. As a result, AECOM became involved in several World Cup related projects in Qatar. Similarly, Jacobs Engineering was awarded a contract in 2013 from Qatar Railways Company to provide project management consultancy services for the Doha Red Line. These are just two of the companies that have worked with Qatar in preparation for the World Cup. And I'm heartened to hear that Qatar will soon launch another economic roadshow in the United States, where Los Angeles will again be the premier destination for Qatari business delegations. As I related to my Qatari friends in 2013, this is the city where the world meets together, a destination for travelers, creatives, entrepreneurs from the four corners of the earth. We're a hub of innovation and investment in the global economy, and couldn't be prouder to be working with you all once again. Thank you very much.
Mayor, thank you so much for your remarks and your kind notes. Of course, appreciate always the advancement of the economic and ties between American companies, our American companies with Qatar. Now I want to move to our other keynote speaker, Mr. Fahad Al-Dosari, Qatar Commercial Attaché to the United States, who will give us an overview on Qatar business opportunities for US companies in Southern California areas. Fahad, thank you so much for taking the time in joining our event today to give a brief on the Qatari initiatives and changes to the policies that help our American companies do more business in Qatar. Fahad.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you today. Before I begin my presentation on Qatar's investment climate, I want to thank the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce and the US-Qatar Business Council for extending an invitation to present to you today. I also want to sincerely and equally thank the Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa, former LA Mayor, for offering his time to speak in support of the Qatar-Los Angeles commercial relationship. Mayor Villaraigosa is a great friend of Qatar, whose leadership helped our nation develop strong commercial ties with Los Angeles businesses, both large and small. It's an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Ms. Didi Lee at Viacom CBS and her teams for supporting this event. My sincere thanks also equally goes to Ms. Leah's colleague, Mr. Peter McPartland, Paramount Pictures Executive Vice President, Strategic Planning and Business Operations. Mr. McPartland, during his tenure as Miramax Films, played a critical role in structuring one of Qatar's most high-profile joint ventures. As you will hear from Mr. McPartland, Qatar-based BM Media Group and Viacom CBS are successful business partners. Indeed, Qatar and Los Angeles have many things in common. The spirit of enterprise and innovation chief among them. For example, in 2018, SpaceX partnered with Qatar's state-owned SailSat telecom venture to launch its SailS-2 telecommunication satellite into orbit on SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. Major companies like Zero Waste Energy with operation in Los Angeles are engaged in the Qatar, helping us deliver on our clean technology and renewable energy strategy. Also, the Qatar fashion industry is developing at an accelerated pace with young designers, many of whom have received inspiration from LA. Those are just some examples of commercial partnership and innovation of which I look forward to highlighting in my presentation, along with general business and investment opportunities we have currently in Qatar. The State of Qatar, under the leadership of His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir, is always striving to develop its economy and business environment to become a hub for trade and attract the best companies to do business. Fortunately, Qatar is located at the center of international trade in the Middle East. Nearly 33% of the world's population is within access to key global markets in Africa, Asia, and Europe, representing 2 billion consumers and 6 trillion in GDP. This audience is surely aware that Qatar is known for its world-class trade and logistics infrastructure, including our state-of-the-art Hamad Port and Hamad International Airport. In August of this year, Hamad International Airport was awarded the world's best airport at the World Airport Awards. As we all aware, Qatar is an oil and gas rich nation. However, we are rapidly diversifying our economy. Under Qatar's National Vision 2030 Economic Development Strategy, with a focus on creating a knowledge-based and environmentally sustainable economy. Each year, there is a growing percentage of the non-hydrocarbon sector participation in Qatar's GDP. Similarly, Qatar is quickly becoming a global sports hub with preparation for hosting the 2022 FIFA World Cup. To that end, our sports industry is expected to grow rapidly in the coming years. As Mayor Villaraigosa said, the world meets in Los Angeles, which makes city globally competitive. Diversity and equality of opportunity is just as important to Qatar. We acknowledge in words and actions that all people, including women, must play a critical role in sustaining and creating economic prosperity for both present and future generations. Qatar's National Vision 2030 includes bolstering women's contribution to the economic development of the country. 30% of decision-making positions in Qatar are held by women, and Qatar has the highest female economic participation rate in the Arab world at 59%. Similarly, there are twice as many female students enrolled in universities in Qatar as males. Indeed, Los Angeles companies will find a diverse, welcoming, and well-educated workforce and commercial partners in Qatar. To share some facts about the Qatar-US investment relationship overall, currently there are more than 120 wholly owned US companies operating in Qatar, with another 820 plus US-Qatar joint venture active in the country. Similarly, Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, Qatar Investment Authority, QIA, is on track to reach a total of 45 billion in investment in the United States. 6 US universities have campuses in Doha, and Qatar is a leading investor in the US education sector. Qatar is also the proud home to Al-Udeid Air Base, which houses 10,000 US troops. Our government has several programs underway to encourage investment across a range of industries to achieve diversification, from which Los Angeles businesses could benefit. Speaking of which, I would like to firstly highlight Qatar's financial technology sector by highlighting Doha Venture Capital's investment in Los Angeles-based Aspiration Bank, which recently merged with inter-private financial partners to become the first environmental, social, and governance-driven fintech company. This sector is developing rapidly in Qatar, thus yielding many opportunities for commercial partnership. In December 2019, the Qatari government launched its national fintech strategy, and in 2020 created the Qatar Fintech Hub to facilitate the growth of local and international fintech companies domestically. During the first quarter of 2021, Qatar was ranked the second largest fintech investor in the MENA region by leading business intelligence firm Magnet. Similarly, biomedical and medical technology is another major industry in Qatar, with the country's healthcare spending being among the highest in the Middle East. Qatar's largest medical centers include Hamad Medical Corporation and Sidra Medical and Research Center. There are many opportunities for Los Angeles healthcare companies, research centers, and hospitals to collaborate and partner with the Qatari counterparts. Qatar Airways currently has 12 hubs in the United States, including one at Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, serving direct flight between Los Angeles and Qatar. As some of you may know, in 2020, Qatar Airways became the world's largest cargo operator. To that end, Qatar built an airport-free zone, Ras Bufontas, next to Hamad International Airport, in order to further spur trade facilitation, including reduction customs processing times. Indeed, Qatar looks forward to becoming a top trading partner of the Port of Los Angeles. Qatar is making efforts to grow its advanced manufacturing industry also, presenting an opportunity for further collaboration with Los Angeles companies. In this vein, Qatar is actively focused on improving its light and heavy manufacturing capabilities. Qatar's airport-free zone, as mentioned, focused on light manufacturing, and our port-free zone in Al focuses on heavy manufacturing and is located next to Hamad Airport, the world's newest greenfield deep sea port. Both Qatar free zones have been designed to provide international companies access to specialized logistics services for an optimal business environment. Qatar is also expanding its LNG production capacity by investing over 28 billion in our North Field East project, the largest investment for the industry globally, providing further opportunities for Los Angeles companies to partner with Qatar. We see this LNG expansion project as an enabler for the country. The additional revenues from this expansion will be reinvested across industries, including media, advanced manufacturing, education, and even in the development of smart cities. In our pursuit to achieve a knowledge-based and environmentally sustainable economy. Needless to say, Qatar and Los Angeles have significant footprints in the sports sector on an international scale. Qatar's ambition is to become a global leader in sports and sustainable sport development. To date, we have hosted more than 500 international sporting events. In light of COVID-19 pandemic, Qatar has invested heavily in state-of-the-art technology for the health and safety of players and fans alike. For context, in 2020, the Diamond League, which is an annual outdoor track and field meeting, was attended by 117 global participants during the pandemic. And this year, Qatar planned to host more than 60 sporting events, which will give us plenty of opportunity to employ best practices for the World Cup in 2022. Similarly, in the field of gaming and esports, Qatar recently launched the Qatar Esport Vega Global Game, which aimed to facilitate opportunities for stakeholders in this industry. In this context, Los Angeles Silicon Beach Technology Hub presents a great opportunity for commercial collaboration in the e-gaming industry for Qatar. The film and television industry is emerging in Qatar as well. For example, in 2010, Her Excellency Sheikh Al-Niyasa bin Mohammed bin Khalifa Al-Thani established the Doha Film Institute, DFI, to support the growth of the local film industry. DFI engages in funding and production of local, regional, and international films, educational programs, and film screenings. Ajyal Youth Film Festival and Qamra, an initiative that seeks to provide mentorship for filmmakers from Qatar and around the world. Since its founding, DFI has worked with also offers opportunities to foreign companies through our media industry expansion initiatives. We recently established the Qatar Media City, which does not impose restriction on media outlets. There are several areas for commercial partnership with Los Angeles companies in this area, including licensing, production, and distribution. I very much look forward to hearing from Mr. McPartland on this industry topic. His film industry expertise will be invaluable for today's discussion. Entertainment destinations are also emerging in Qatar. Potential areas of collaboration for Los Angeles companies include theme parks and other entertainment venues, including cinemas and sport complexes. Similarly, Qatar is considered one of the safest tourist destinations in the world, with robust offering of historic sites, museum, five-star hotels, and world-class dining and shopping outlets. The Qatar Tourism Authority is a key resource for entertainment and hospitality investors. Qatar offers strong financial incentives for US companies to invest domestically, including 20-year tax holiday for companies operating in Qatar free zones and a variety of investment funds to support small and medium-sized enterprises. In summation, Qatar has a lot to offer to Los Angeles companies by way of logistics and market access, infrastructure, investment incentives, business-friendly regulations, and favorable taxation, transparency, and high standards, and human capital. To that end, my office has created an investment brochure, which will be distributed electronically after today's event. The brochure serves as a general reference guide for LA companies interested in doing business with Qatar. And of course, our office is always happy to assist with any inquiries or questions by the companies interested in learning more about doing business in Qatar. I very much look forward to continuing this dialogue with you and your colleagues soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Fahad, thank you so much. What a wonderful presentation, and a lot of changes that's took place in Qatar, and a lot of opportunities for our American companies. And I hope our attendees, and even later, because this event will be recorded, so more people can realize these opportunities, can get an advantage. And we always hope, as I think a lot of the people on this panel might agree with me, we always hope to see more American companies working with Qatar, and we hope that Qatar will, do more business and invest more in the United States. It's always a great partnerships, and we always appreciate Qatar efforts in many parts with the United States, including hosting our men and women in the uniform in the military base, and we really appreciate all these efforts that Qatar does all the time. I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick presentation from the US-Qatar Business Council on the opportunities that we from our companies, our American companies in the past worked with Qatar, realized in the trade numbers and what we witness here from the council perspective. I'll share a quick presentation with you right now, and I'll go over So in general, I'm going to go over a few of the US-Qatar trade statistics. We have 1.7 billion total value of goods imported from Qatar in 2019, and 6.5 billion total value of goods exported to Qatar in 2019. We could see that the United States is exporting more than we're importing from Qatar. And that's something that we really appreciate, always to export more than we import. We have $4.8 billion, the US-Qatar trade balance, which is very critical in supporting our American economy. Most of the major US exports to Qatar are in the transportation equipments, defense and security technologies, electronics, and the imports mostly in petroleum products, chemicals, and primary metal manufacturing like aluminum that we import from the state of Qatar. We have $2.7 billion in 2019 in stock foreign direct investments from Qatar to the United States. We have $14.2 billion in 2019 in stock foreign direct investments from the US to Qatar. These are in form of a lot of our companies, American companies working in Qatar and establishing in the energy and in the security field. In many ways, Qatar has, as Fahad mentioned, done so much in expanding the relationship with many foreign countries. But when it comes to the United States, by establishing new policies and rules and ease of doing business and registering property, they rank high in this first for best countries for ease of registering properties, and as well third in favorable taxation. So a lot of incentives. I know Fahad and his office will be glad to discuss with the companies that are interested in doing businesses in Qatar. We have noticed from many of our companies and members that we work with that they have several investment opportunities in the ICT and services, infrastructure, energy, healthcare, education, and tourism. And again, as Fahad said, there is a lot of expansion and a lot of opportunities there. So if there is an opportunity that we should seize as American companies, is these hot sectors that Qatar wants to expand and advance. Top Qatari foreign direct investments in the United States are in the communication, energy, and real estate and financial services. And we know that there is a lot of major investments that took place in California and in the LA area as well from Qatar. And I'm sure we will hear more about this from the Commercial Attaché Office or from the council if anyone is interested to learn more about it. And we will hear a case study as well shortly. The total $45 billion commitment that Qatar said they will invest in the United States, it's almost accomplished, as Fahad mentioned, many investments. And this is a direct investment. So it's the foreign, the Qatar Investment Authority, the Foreign Sovereign Wealth Fund investing in the United States. There's more investments from private sector, other government entities as well. That's not mentioning Qatar petroleum investments in the United States, in many LNG projects with American partners. That's creating more jobs. And that's what we look to see more of in the United States. Now, I want to also mention why California. And this is, I know that we have a lot of people from in the United States listening to this webinar, but for us as US-Qatar Business Council, we like to highlight the interests that we see as a synergy with the State of Qatar in this. They are the first largest economy in the United States. $3.1 trillion is the GDP in 2019 of California, the fifth largest economy in the world. And that's something that gives a perspective, is working with American companies and companies in the California area is a well-established, can offer so much to Qatar. Los Angeles is California County with most foreign-owned enterprises, and that's something as well, give a perspective on doing more businesses with the United States from Qatar. 22.7 billion, largest investment received by a US state in 2019. So you can see it's very appealing for many entities, California, and in this case as well, Los Angeles. And there's 17 foreign trade zones, and that's more to show that there is good collaboration and more synergies to do with California. I know a lot of people today know a lot about California. I know from my visits to Qatar and the time I spent with our members and our people in there, you always hear California. And as we heard from the Honorable the Mayor today, there is synergies. And I know that Qatar really appreciates spending time in LA area and in California. It's beautiful weather, of course, but you know, there's more business opportunities in manufacturing, healthcare, pharmaceutical, and these are the things that we just heard from Fahad that are hot in the State of Qatar as well. So there's more synergies to see there. There's so many trade shows and conferences, and we hope to see more connections between the Qatari entities and the California and Los Angeles area companies, so we can advance the exports, the offerings and the business relationship in that. So the relationship between California and Qatar, you can show you that it's the second largest Qatar FDI recipient after Texas, and that's major. It's huge. Texas, there is also energy projects, so we need to focus on that. So there's the numbers kind of play a little bit in favor of Texas in that. 5 million value of Qatari donations to California. In many ways, Qatar donates to several states and helping when it comes to time of crisis or catastrophes in many ways. 28 million California total 2019 imports from Qatar, and 316 million California total exports to Qatar in 2019. These are good numbers, and we want to see hopefully these numbers going up. 2.77 billion total Qatar foreign direct investments in California. So we see the numbers, and we know that there's more opportunities there to seize and expand for our American companies. Major California exports to Qatar within the aircraft, spacecrafts, and parts, in nuclear reactors, boilers, and machinery in this case, and electric machinery and equipment. So there's more to seize on there in the entertainment, in the healthcare, and the pharmaceutical. So we want to see more of that for our American companies, and more American companies doing business in that part. And any way that this can be facilitated, we look forward to support that for our American companies. The major California imports from Qatar are aluminum and chemicals and rare earth metals, as well plastics. So we could see the numbers are in our favor in here, and in our favor, I say, is in California favor. So this is good, and we want to expand on that. These are some of the companies that we work with, and we knew that they work between California and Qatar. Chevron, of course, Eat Just, Sophie, Cali Farms, and Douglas Emmett, and Gigamon. And these are companies that they have received or worked with the State of Qatar and entities from Qatar with investments and engagements with major projects like Chevron. Sophie, they're working with QIA and many investment opportunities. These are big numbers, but they're small and medium-sized companies are really in need now in to work with the opportunities and the initiatives that Qatar has and what Fahad mentioned today. These are some of the incentives and infrastructures, as Fahad mentioned. Qatar offers 100% foreign ownership, no custom duties and on imports, no individual income tax so far, flexible business registration options. So it shows you that there's more to offer and connect with Qatar. Major investments in smart cities, 46 daily nonstop flights between the United States and Qatar. That shows you that the business can be easily done because there's always nonstop flights, and there's many of them. 5 daily flights from LA to Doha on Qatar Airways. So that's great. We can see you can go and come back within a few days and conduct business. Hamad Airport, as Fahad mentioned, with major cargo capacity, and as well state-of-the-art facilities for business travelers. These are the entities that our companies and our American companies always mention that it's good to work with, and they help facilitate working with American companies. Ministry of Commerce and Industry, of course, Fahad Al-Dosari, the Commercial Attaché that represents the ministry, and the Investment Promotion Agency as well in Qatar, and his office and his team in the United States. Qatar Financial Center, the Qatar Free Zone Authority, in Qatar Science and Technology Park, Qatar, and Qatar Development Bank. Mentioning Qatar Development Bank, it's very interesting that there's a lot of medium to small size companies are collaborating with local Qatari entities through grants and programs offered through Qatar Development Bank in expanding that. And that's helpful because medium and small size companies in the United States, in California, in LA, are as well very important and core when it comes to the economy and expanding economical options. this is a little bit about the United States Qatar Business Council. So the US-Qatar Business Council works to develop, support, and advance the bilateral business relationship between the United States and the State of Qatar. USQBC is a US non-for-profit independent 501c6 membership-based trade association based in Washington, D.C., our HQ. We offer market insight, analysis, market research, surveys, partner identification and introductions, business-to-business meeting arrangements, and logistical support to American companies, and access to the US and Qatari officials so we can enhance this relationship and doing business. And we always work to host events like this webinar with partners like LA Chamber and several other entities to bring the message and help American companies and our members in doing more business in Qatar. I would like to thank you from our side as the US-Qatar Business Council for everyone today, but I'm gonna go now to hear a case study on doing business with Qatar so we can understand on the ground a real case on how American companies can do business with Qatar or investments with Qatar. I would like to invite Mr. Peter McPartland, the Executive Vice President, Strategic Planning and Business Operations from Paramount Pictures, to give us his remarks and review the case study. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to first thank the LA Area Chamber of Commerce and, of course, the US-Qatar Business Council for inviting me to speak today. I'll try to run through, fairly briefly, not knowing kind of everybody on the Zoom, give you some general background on my company, Viacom CBS, larger company, the division I work for, Paramount Pictures, and then get into the transaction with BN for Miramax. So just a quick overview. Viacom CBS is obviously a multinational corporation. We're involved in filmed entertainment, TV entertainment, cable networks, streaming services. Many of you know our products or our channels, our content, even if you don't know that it's Viacom CBS. So on the filmed entertainment side, we have Paramount Pictures. On the TV side, we have all the CBS suite of channels. And then the cable networks, which come from the Viacom side, such as BET, Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, Showtime. And we do have some international channels as well, Channel 5 in the UK, Telefe in Argentina, Network 10 in Australia. Back here in the United States, we're best known now for having launched Paramount Plus just a short while ago. And we also own Pluto TV, an AVOD, advertising video on demand service. Moving down, quickly, there's a Q&A if people have, kind of more questions, but I'd like to kind of move through as quickly as possible. Some of the highlights of Paramount Plus, which is one of our kind of most important initiatives, include the tagline. It's, news, sports, and a mountain of entertainment. So one of the highlights of that programming is thousands of movies are on there every day. You can find tens of thousands of TV episodes, live broadcast rights to the NFL, NCAA basketball, UEFA Champions League soccer, and the PGA. So it's something we're very proud of. It's been very successful so far, and kind of a highlight of what we're doing today. On the filmed entertainment side, we've had a very good run the last few years. Paramount was in kind of a difficult place 4 or 5 years ago. Under new leadership, it's really turned around. And even throughout the pandemic, we've done pretty well. Recent successes are A Quiet Place Part 2, Paw Patrol. We have some bigger movies coming out next year, Top Gun Maverick, Mission Impossible. Star Trek is another, and Transformers are other, larger franchises for us that will have new installments coming as well. On the TV side, actually at Paramount, we have our own TV studio that does a lot of produces a lot of shows that you might be familiar with: Jack Ryan, Made for Love, First Wives Club. We have some very interesting TV coming up. One of our largest well-known properties is The Godfather. We're doing a TV series based on The Godfather, the making of the Godfather movie called The Offer. And of course, the library, as I mentioned, The Godfather, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Chinatown, Titanic, Braveheart, Forrest Gump. So that's Paramount. But more quickly now to what we're here for, which is Miramax. Just a personal aside, I worked there for 7 years. So when the opportunity arose, and by the way, as did my boss, Andrew Gumpert. So when the opportunity arose, it was quite fortuitous given that he and I had a very deep knowledge of what Miramax was and advocated very strongly to be involved with Miramax. It was an interesting transaction in that it wasn't a straightforward acquisition. BN wanted a strategic partner to help take Miramax to the next level. BN had been doing very well with the company, but understood, what I would say in a very sophisticated way, that they would like to have a partner on the ground here in Los Angeles, a major studio that could not only assist them with supervising the company in terms of making new movies, which they were moving into, which was a very smart initiative on BN's part, but also handle the distribution of this beautiful library that Miramax has, 600 to 700 titles. And they were doing a very good job with, distributing it around the world, but to put it in the hands of a major studio like ours with, I'll humbly say, best in class TV licensing and home entertainment divisions, being rightly sought out that type of partner to take the revenue of the company to a different level. And we thought it was a great opportunity as well for us. So, as I mentioned, it was a challenging deal in some ways because it wasn't an outright sale. And so you have a marriage between two companies who both effectively will share control of the company. And sometimes when you enter into that type of negotiation, it can be very contentious. People take things very personally. BN had owned and shepherded Miramax in a very, very successful way and didn't want to get pushed aside by Viacom CBS. But I think most impressive in that environment, when you're trying to craft a deal, was not only the sophistication of the executives at BN and their representatives, but the open-mindedness to structuring the deal in such a way that it could be beneficial to both parties. Very simply, and not getting too deep into the weeds, but as I mentioned, we agreed to kind of share oversight and needed both our approvals to do kind of major things with the company. But we left smartly, I think, a lot of responsibility at Miramax with the head of Miramax, Bill Block, and trusted that he would, take the company forward in a positive way. And if he needed help, we were there to help and support him. We also structured the deal, and I thought an interesting way that was also a compliment to BN in that we didn't just exchange money at the signing. We exchanged some money at the signing, but we also agreed that some of the purchase price from Viacom CBS would get put back into the company to make sure that it was a successful endeavor going forward, which I thought was quite unique and quite forward thinking of BN and of ourselves, but also of BN to really back up their assertion that they wanted this to be a going concern forward, not to just cash out and leave the business. And so having said all of that, the results have been extraordinary. BN has been a unbelievably great partner. As Fahad said, very, very successful business partners, we'd say they've been. The last year, we're about a year and a half, year and change into the relationship. The deal closed in April of 2020. And everything has gone, unbelievably well, knock on wood. The library has overperformed our promise to be in, to take the library and be able to exploit it in a way they had not seen before, proved itself out. Our expertise in parts of the globe where they weren't exploiting the library as well, we were able to take those areas and really kind of advance the ball. And then, compliment to Bill Block and his team for creating some great content that has sold very, very well around the world, whether it be theatrically or streaming. He had a movie already ready to go when we got there called The Gentleman, a Guy Ritchie movie, another Guy Ritchie movie, which was released during the beginning of COVID that did very well, Wrath of Man. He's All That, a very small romantic teen comedy based on a property in the Miramax library that became a huge, huge success on Netflix and a huge financial success for us as a company, and highlights kind of one of the exact use cases that we had discussed when we got into this partnership with beIN, which was allowing Bill to make more product, and many of it based on the library, which is now starting to prove itself out. They have a robust TV business that's getting going now, and also, of course, more movies to come. Yet another Guy Ritchie movie next year, Halloween, which is a franchise that they've done very well with Universal. The next Halloween will come out October 15th, 2021. One movie that I'm very excited about, based on the Fletch franchise. This one goes back to the original books, called Confess Fletch with John Hamm. That'll be coming next year as well. And maybe one of the ones we're most proud of, which is The Turkish Detective, which was announced in June 2020 and is a co-production between Miramax and Viacom CBS. So we're very excited. As I said, beIN has been great partners, and looking to the future, we see nothing but a positive outlook. Right leadership, right partners, and as Fahad said, once again, successful business partners. We're very happy with the outcome, and look to the positive future of Miramax and our relationship with beIN. So I'll leave it at that. Send it back over to you, Mohammed, and take any questions that people have. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Peter. Really appreciate that. I was trying to take notes of all these upcoming shows because, fall is coming or winter is coming. So looking forward for this. And I'm glad to hear it's a successful partnership. It's hopefully we'll hear more and more of this and more partnerships that Qatar does with American companies. I know Qatar does a lot of partnerships across the globe, but because here we're in the US, we wanted more with the American companies. So hopefully we'll see more of that. I'm gonna go quickly for a few questions that we got today before I know we're getting close to the end of our webinar, and I in respect of everyone's time, I want to keep it short. So I want to start with you, Mayor. Let me ask you this. You mentioned in several couple questions that came up here, you mentioned that you have worked,
and that happened last night too,
and your engagements with the Qataris in LA as mayor of LA. How would you describe the business relationship and the relationship with Qatar? In how do you see more American companies, LA-based companies, working with Qatar? And you saw today, Fahad gave us a really great perspective on that. I think the mayor's video dropped. We'll wait for him to come back, and I'll ask him the question again. But since we just heard from Fahad on the opportunities that Qatar has to offer, a few questions came across the Q&A asking about, one, how does companies take it to the next steps? If someone is interested in doing business with Qatar, they have business idea and they want to start executing, where do they go? Where do they start? They come to you, and then what's next?
Yeah, definitely we are happy to assist, as I mentioned in my presentation. And I would recommend them to reach out to us or USQBC. We all work together towards the same goal of educating the people how to develop their ideas and discuss their intention of doing business in Qatar. So I'd recommend them to reach out to us and use that our brochure that we will send after this event to ask any question, because I see some questions that requesting to meet with us and know more about doing business, and this is why we are here to assist and help them happily. So because of the time restraint now, I'm happy to assist them if they reach out to our office.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. And we do have Mayor, you're back with us. I'm not sure if you heard my question, but I was asking, how do you see you have worked with Qatar, and you mentioned that, how do you see the relationship with Qatar business-wise expanding for LA companies and taking it to the next level?
Well, first of all, let me just say I got kicked off for some reason, and I was frantically trying to get back on, but thankfully I am on. And I didn't get to hear the question, but let me just say a couple of things. One, I couldn't be happier and prouder to reconnect with Qatar and all of you. I've recognized for a very long time that the US-Qatar relationship, business relationship is, geopolitical relationship is very, very important. But it's particularly important with Los Angeles, and I'll tell you why. Because of proximity and geography, New York is the place. The East Coast is the place where historically you all have been. But remember this is the capital of the Pacific Rim and the Pacific Century. China, Japan, Korea, the West Coast, California, the 5th largest economy in the world. This is the place where you can get, as they say in English, more bang for your buck, greater leverage with your investment. And we couldn't be more excited to reconnect in this way. We think it's really important for the city of Los Angeles. I know the mayor feels that way as well. As we come to the World Cup, I'm excited about the possibilities for that and beyond, because once people go to Doha, once they see the tremendous investment that you've made in the last 2 decades, but particularly the last decade, the synergies that can occur when an AECOM and a Jacobs Engineering go to Qatar and vice versa, Miramax and Paramount. I'm excited about this relationship and look forward to working more closely with you, the Chamber, Paramount, all of the entities who are on this call, to make sure this relationship blossoms to its fullest potential.
Thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate that. And we know that the US, we are hosting the next World Cup after Qatar in 2026. So the experience is going to transfer, American companies helping building there, but now the experience hopefully will come and help here. And I know, of course, California and LA will host some of the major games. It's the first time that 3 countries are involved: Canada, Mexico, and the US in this. And soccer is expanding in the US, as we see. So that's,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And we're excited about that, by the way. The 3 countries of North America, Mexico, the land of my heritage. Grandpa came from Mexico more than 100 years ago. Canada, who just won the Olympics. The U.S. women's team that is obviously very serious. We're very excited about all of that.
It is great. It is great. I know we're running out of time, so we do have so many questions. A lot of them, they do ask to contact Fahad, and I know Fahad mentioned he and his office will share contacts after this event to everyone on this participated and attended the webinar. The webinar will be recorded as well. I want to go to Martin to hear a couple for closing remarks before we end today.
Oh, thank you so much, Mohammed. I really want to thank you for giving this amazing overview about Qatar and really the potential and the opportunities to invest in that country. I think that from a business perspective, community perspective here in LA, there's certainly a lot of procurement opportunities there, as you said, with the World Cup next year. So thank you for giving an outline of what Qatar can offer. In my personal opinion, the opportunities are huge. So I really hope that whoever attended this webinar today took advantage of that. And if there's any questions, they should address them to you, or they should address them to the chamber. We're happy to pass them to you. But thank you so much, Fahad, Al-Dosari, really, Mohammed, you and Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa for your insight and your opening remarks. Really thanking you all for partnering with the ELA Chamber putting this webinar together.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, everyone. I really want to thank also the unknown soldiers behind the screens that made this happen at every entity. Mayor Villaraigosa, thank you so much for your time. Fahad, really appreciate accepting the invite to speak to the companies today. And of course, the Los Angeles area chamber, Martin and your team for making this happen, and everyone that attended today. Thank you, and we look forward to see more participation in our next webinars. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.